Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, brothers in arms, World of Warships, and today's video we're going to take a look at a game that I had in my very first premium ship that I bought, the Tier 4 Japanese battleship Ishizuchi. I'm divisioned up with my friends from Rush B and MIA, D-Mags and the Real Senpai, and they're playing in the Clemson and Shenyang respectively, the Tier 4 American and Pan-Asian destroyer, and we're playing some domination here on the map Strait. So on Monday, I featured the Sims, the Tier 7 Premium American DD, and I showcased why it is my most played ship and my favorite premium. But as I already alluded to, the Ishizuchi was the very first pixel boat that I decided to shellac a little bit of my in real life money for. And this is a very interesting design here at Tier 4, and it has a very unique playstyle, plus it's also kind of referred to as the zucchini, where you can kind of see that with the, I guess, olive-colored green and white that goes on it. I don't know if it looks like a zucchini to you guys, but that's the nickname that it has, and I think it's appropriate. So, what do you need to know about this ship? Well, according to the wiki article, it says, quote, one of the draft designs for a battle cruiser of the Imperial Japanese Navy that subsequently materialized as the Congo class. So this thing does look like a stock hull Congo, in all honesty. The ship does not, however, come with 14-inch guns, but you do get 2 extra, and they come in the form of 12-inch or 305 millimeters. You get 5 turrets with 2 guns apiece. They have really good firing arcs to the front, as you can see right here, probably at about a 30-35 degree angle, and you're able to get all of your guns shooting downrange at the target. The high explosive performance is actually really good, and I know that we're in a day and age where there's a lot of HE shooting going on with battleships, specifically the British, and to a lesser extent, the French and the Germans. But 5,200 damage if you manage to Citadel with the HE shot, and in all honesty, it's kind of easy shooting at Tier 4 cruisers like the Phoenix, like the Danae. It happens very often if you close the distance, and that's why a lot of people do like to shoot HE in this ship, myself included. However, this is something that I do not recommend to any new player that's starting the game. You should obviously hit the 2 key right at the very beginning. You should be learning how to utilize the AP to get Citadels and not relying on the troll factor that is a high explosive shot in battleships. But again, I've been playing the game for a very long time, and at this point I was just fooling around with my buddies. We decided to play some lower tier games on the one evening that we all got together to play, and this is why I decided to send a few high explosive salvos downrange at the beginning before this game turns into a bit of a dogfight. Anyway, other things about the Ishizuchi that you need to know. The armor on the ship is very poor. You do have 45,700 hit points, which is a pretty decent amount. However, this ship does not have the kind of belt armor that you would expect on a battleship, hence why it was a battle cruiser design concept. This thing at ranges of under 8 kilometers will get citadeled reliably, and it is one of the few battleships left in the game that I can honestly say should be worried about a 1 health deletion, as I managed to get 1 overpen and 1 citadel on the Phoenix. I have seen Ishizuchis get deleted from full health to nothing because, well, it's honestly got an armor scheme like the bygone era of World of Warships, way back in the day when it was just the Japanese and American designs that you had to contend with, and before the German turtleback scheme redefined what really is a good armor scheme. This thing has a citadel that does poke above the water, and it just eats damage very, very easily. Now, granted, a lot of the battleships at these tiers do because they don't have the bow or the stern nor the deck armor to reliably bounce shells, but this ship at point-blank range is in a lot of trouble. It's very similar to the Yamato. If you show too much broadside, you will get walloped. It's going to hurt, and you're going to be really regretting the decisions that you made. Another thing about the ship that really sucks is the anti-aircraft defense. You have 6 80mm guns that have a range of 3 kilometers, which is okay for a Tier 4 battleship, and their stock DPM is 9.6. Yep, you heard me right, 9.6. So basically speaking, whenever there's a Tier 4 or 5 carrier in the game, you are at the mercy of whether they decide to attack you or not. This ship, fully AA spec'd, is just a complete waste of time. There's not enough guns on it to warrant it whatsoever. But at least it has a little bit more going for it than does something like the Arkansas Beta, which has 0 AA armament on it. Or, as my buddy Pun would say, there's a couple Marines, the ship detachment of Marines that are sitting there pointing their finger guns up at the sky to shoot down planes. But anyway, what I'm getting at here, the AA is absolutely abysmal. And really quickly, I do manage to secure my first kill of the game with a high explosive salvo from the 3 rear turrets that killed off the Tier 4 American battleship Wyoming. I'm up to 16,000 points of damage, and right now we are winning 478 to 249. Now, the last couple parts about the Ishizuchi, the maneuverability is pretty good for a Tier 4 battleship. 27.5 knots puts it right at the upper echelon of speed, which is something that a battlecruiser design really should have, and that's exactly what the Ishizuchi is able to boast. You can flank and get around to the sides of the map relatively easily, especially compared to the standard type battleship designs that the American battleships down at these tiers like the Wyoming and the New York and Texas are able to boast. The turning circle of 740 meters and a 12.9-second rudder shift time honestly is not that bad. Those kinds of numbers are found on very high tier cruisers like Hindenburg and Moskva. So if you're used to playing high tier cruisers, then you'll get used to the maneuverability and handling of an Ishizuchi really nicely. And lastly, the concealment. Well, it's Japanese, so it's absolutely horrible. Stock 15.2 kilometers from the surface, 11.1 kilometers from the air. This thing is not going to hide. And as we all know, the Congo and all of her sister ships at Tier 5 have really poor detection as is anyway, so this is something that you should be expecting. So, those are the base numbers of the Ishizuchi, and as such, it's a ship that has to rely on its DPM and has to rely on its speed to be able to maneuver around, deal damage, and take care of business. So, it's now 365 to 445. Our team has lost 5 ships, but most importantly, our aircraft carrier has already been destroyed, whereas the enemy team has only lost 3. Now, unfortunately, both of my division mates that went forward died very early on, so it's going to be up to me to be able to carry the load for this team. We still have 2 out of the 3 caps, and you can see there's an enemy Breton that is down in the B cap. However, I can't pass up this opportunity. Whenever there's a carrier able to be shot at, you got to take that advantage. It is very similar to in World of Tanks. Whenever you see an arty, you got to throw some shells down range. But at this moment, I finally realized that the Breton was in B, so I'm getting ready to swing my guns into play and try to shoot at that guy after I get one last parting salvo here at the enemy Kaiser. So at this point in the game, looking at the minimap, you can see that the enemy team on the northwestern side has been pushed back all the way to the 2 line, and then there are 4 enemy ships in and around the B and the C objective, with one Ishizuchi that was trying to take care of our friendly carrier turning back around. So the enemy team has the advantage because they still have the carrier. The Breton just manages to take out another ship for our 6th ship destroyed in the game, and they also still have an enemy destroyer on the loose, which is not very good. Now you can see I am shooting the high explosive shot at that French battleship, and look at that. 1 secondary knocked out, 3 AA guns knocked out, a fire set, and then of course a bit of damage dealt as well. The base fire chance on the HE shells is 32%. So if you have Demo Expert and the fire flags like I do, this is my Zal Captain that I have in this guy, you can get the fire chance up to 36%, which in today's day and age is nothing special compared to the British battleships, but back in the day, this thing was a very terrifying fire starter, and you can see back-to-back salvos on the Breton managed to set 2 different fires. The guy is burning in 2 places. He is using his heel right now, but, you know, I'm getting ready to finish him off with the coup de grace here. Now you can see that my AA is doing absolutely nothing. There were enemy torpedo bombers that came in to drop on me, and luckily for me, Tier 4 carriers can no longer manual drop, but I'm still not able to turn out of the way, and I'm going to eat 1 torpedo in the rear that floods me and knocks out my steering, and then the 2nd torpedo manages to hit just underneath the B turret. So right now I'm down to about half hit points. I am using my heel right now, but unfortunately the enemy Königsberg manages to take care of our Ishizuchi. There we go. So right now we're in a 3 versus 6 situation. The enemy team has almost a 100-point lead, and they have 2 of the 3 caps. So at this point, the Iron Duke needs to take care of the Zuiho, and he needs to take care of the other enemy cruiser. It looks like an Omaha that is border humping over on the C1 grid square. So at this point, the outcome of this game really does depend on whether that Iron Duke is going to be able to take care of business over there. And sometimes when you play at the lower tiers, it doesn't matter how much of an overpowered division that you have. You know, you're going to lose games. You're going to be in situations where it's not going to be looking good. But at the very least, the Iron Duke still has the very vast majority of his hit points to work with. So he should be able to take care of business. And the Iron Duke actually has a pretty sneaky good long-range AA suite if you do spec into the AA on the ship. So hopefully he's not going to die from the attack over there. And it looks like he's already turning in. Doesn't look like he's a noob at the game. So he's going to dodge some of those torpedoes and dive bombers that are over there and should take care of business. However, at this point, you can see, looking on the minimap, the last two cruisers that were spotted down just outside of the sea cap were two Yubaris, the Tier 4 premium Japanese light cruiser. They have very fast and very accurate guns, and they also have some pretty good torpedoes. I believe they are 8 kilometers in range, but they might be 10. I'm not 100% sure because I don't have one, but I'm also getting shot at by the enemy Königsberg. And what you're going to see from here on out is a masterclass in how to utilize your repair and your heal effectively. The Iron Duke manages to take care of the Omaha, and I do have the high explosive shot loaded. However, I'm going to switch to the armor piercing. The cruisers down at these tiers have such little armor that even if they are fully bow in, it actually provides you with a better chance to get citadels, because since the armor is so thin, the shells are able to easily penetrate the nose of the ship that you're shooting at and go right into the bows, penetrate through the citadel roof, go right into the engine room, and do all those very nasty things that cruisers are used to being on the receiving end of. However, you can see here, well, that salvo dealing 5,400 damage. I do hit a couple shells right on the nose, and it still does not manage to take care of business. However, I'm using my heal right now. I have yet to hit the R button to use the repair because I only have one fire burning, and there's no reason for me to do such a thing. I'm looking for the killing blow here on this Yubari. However, I overestimated his turning capabilities, and I actually biffed the entire salvo at 4.7 kilometers. An absolute travesty right there, as I'm sure some of those, maybe one, both of them possibly, have dropped their torpedoes. So at this point, I couldn't keep sailing to the west, and I had to turn a little bit to try to, anticipate any torpedoes, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm getting ready for the next salvo here. The Yubari turns in, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, and I managed to get one citadel penetrating right through the front of that Tier 4 Japanese cruiser. I pick up my third kill of the game, and I'm up to 73,000 points of damage. I still am loading some armor piercing shot right now, but I'm getting ready to now shoot at the Ishizuchi. And you know, sometimes you just got to shoot with what's in the barrel. You can see that he is slowing down very hard, and I'm only going to hit a couple at the nose. I still pick up the Confederate with 3 over penetrations, and I'm still keeping the armor piercing shot loaded because, as we all know, destroyers and battleship AP equals some troll these days. So 5 seconds left on the reload. I have still yet to use my repair, even though I'm not burning right now. Saving it is so important, because if I would have used it on the fire and then taken a hit from a torpedo, I would be absolutely screwed right now. I get 3 more overpens that put the Ishizuchi down to just under 500 hit points. I'm using my next heal here. However, instead of trying to finish him off, I'm going to turn to the more immediate threat. This other enemy Yubari, is 4.4 kilometers away, and he is rapidly closing the distance, but he's providing just enough of an angle where I can find that citadel. 15,000 damage, 2 pens, 2 citadels, high caliber and devastating strike picked up, 4th ship destroyed, 94,000 damage. The game is now a 2 versus 3 instead of the 3 versus 6 that it was a few minutes ago. I'm still getting blind fired by the Königsberg, so at this point I do need to take care of this Ishizuchi. I am also detected by the aircraft because of the horrible detection range from aircraft that the ship has, but you know, at this point I'm just trying to move back to the east to try to get in line of sight on the enemy Königsberg. And then the Ishizuchi completely gift wraps me a kill. And the reason why he should not have done this is because at the moment he is spotting me for the Königsberg to shoot at. And this just tells me this guy is a noob. And, you know, he's probably very new to the game. And destroyers, that's something that you really need to understand at these late game situations when you're the spotting for your team. You just can't throw yourself away like that. I do pick up the Kraken Unleashed with my 5th kill of the game, which is really nice. And while I do get lit on fire from the Königsberg, he is now moving out of position. I'm trying to get the, let's see, that's 3 turrets shooting. Hopefully it's going to be able to make it over the corner of the island, and that is what happens, but I only get 1 over penetration. We're still losing the game. The Iron Duke is valiantly trying to chase after the Zuiho, who made a U-turn and then retreated down through the 2 and the 3 island gap. I am still detected by aircraft. However, for some reason the Königsberg decided to move out of the way, and he's not able to get shots at me anymore because once I returned fire at him, he had to go behind the island that's just off to my starboard side. And if you've noticed, I have still yet to use my repair. Using your heal to get back all of the available hit points that you can is something that you need to do before you even think about hitting the R button. And I could honestly probably make an entire video about it just so you guys get a better understanding of how to properly cycle them. If you'd like me to, please leave a comment below if something like that does interest you. But, you know, I've still stayed at about 2/3 hit points for the vast majority of this game. Ever since I got torpedoed by the enemy aircraft carrier, I've only lost about 8,000, well, actually not even 8,000 permanent hit points. If I use my next heal in 54 seconds, I'm going to be able to get up to about 20,000. So in that entire engagement, when I had to deal with 3 different enemy ships, I only lost permanently about 6,000 hit points because I utilized my heal and my repairs correctly. However, it's crunch time, 7:54 to 8:29. The enemy team still has B and C. I do have to get onto the B cap right about now. And the enemy carrier also gift wraps us a very, very fortunate thing to happen. That was terrible English. Sorry about that. The enemy carrier, as I wanted to say, made a huge mistake and decided to go after the Iron Duke that's over there. I honestly have no idea why. I have even crappier, way crappier AA than he does, and it doesn't even appear the carrier was able to kill the guy. The friendly Iron Duke is now on 8,500 hit points. It looks like he got hit by 1 torpedo, but he did the good play and he got as close to the island as possible so that so the enemy torpedo planes had to stay within his AA bubble for a little bit longer to find a better angle to work with. And they weren't able to. So now, instead of it being about 710 to 940 or so, with the Iron Duke dead, we're still only about 100 points behind, and I will be able to get the B cap here in about 23 seconds. The next salvo going down range, just a little bit too far to the rear, and it results in a bunch of over-penetrations with only 1 penetrating hit, but I do put the Königsberg down on about 1,800 hit points, and it looks like the Iron Duke manages to light him on fire on the bow with a secondary hit. However, I'm going to get this cheeky kill steal here because I want to take care of business, and then he uses his repair. The shells fall in, and the one that penetrates gets a Citadel, and I also pick up the solo base cap for my 6th kill of the game. And now we have not only taken the lead, but now we have the cap lead as well. So it's at this point we just got to try and find the enemy aircraft carrier. And you can see I am detected right now. And with the gun bloom down, it tells me that he's somewhere out in the ether. Again, the concealment on this thing is just so terrible that, you know, it's very difficult to guess correctly where enemy ships are that have significant advantages in concealment. However, because I went undetected right there, and now I'm detected again by aircraft, that tells me that he went behind one of the islands in front of me, and that's exactly what happened. So, while it's very difficult to guess, yes, as soon as that detection went away, I knew immediately that he was off in the front, and that's exactly where he's at. So now I'm swinging my guns into play. I do have the armor-piercing shot loaded. However, on broadside aircraft carriers at this tier, they have such little armor that fighting the Citadel is a little bit tricky. 2 shells penetrate the waterline of the Zuiho, and I only get 2 over-penetrations. And now the carrier decides, hey, it's time to come after Sneaky Snake, so I got to try to get this last salvo off before I could potentially be in danger here. I only need to take about 3 torpedoes, and I will be sunk. My next broadside shot goes out, and right as the torpedo planes come in on the attack run, the shells fall in, and I manage to delete the carrier and finish off the game in style. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. 428,000 credits received and 6,085 total experience earned. I picked up Devastating Strike, Confederate, Dreadnought, Kraken, and High Caliber, dealing 118,000 points of damage off of 67 shell hits. I sank 7 enemy ships, had 5 fires, 7 citadels, and 1 solo base capture. Taking a look at the team score, 1,998 base experience on a win in a tier 4 vessel is fantastic. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Balk Bullet in the Iron Duke. He had 2 kills, 10 planes, and 1,100 base experience in this one. So if you do manage to watch this replay, very nice job, Bullet. Taking a look at the detailed report, 32,000 damage dealt with the HE, 67,000 damage with the AP, 18,000 damage with the fires that I set, 1.134 million potential damage, 60 out of the 180 capture points taken by myself, and then I took 59,000 damage received from the enemy team, so I tanked about 15,000 more hit points than I had on the ship at 45.7. Taking a look lastly at the credits and XP, because it's a premium, you know, you're really not going to make too much in the way of credits with these low-tier premium ships. They're more just for having them in your port, and if you're a fan of naval history like myself, but I still made a pretty decent profit at 369,000 credits. However, it must be mentioned that I do have, I believe it's called the Wyvern flag, where it does give you a pretty nice boost in your credit earning. And then there's another one of the, it's not one of the special flags, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it also gives you, I think, plus 5% more credits as well. So, you know, on a normal game in this ship, you're going to be making anywhere in the mid to high 200,000 credit range, which is, you know, for a premium, it's nothing special, but it's still nice to have. So with that being said, this is, of course, the Sneaky Snake for Brothers in Arms, World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, please consider giving the video a like, commenting on it, or possibly subscribing to the channel. All of it is very much appreciated. And also, lastly, if you do want to see more low-tier gameplay on our channel, please let us know in the comments below. Thank you. Have a great day.